Welcome back to another weekend of week or whatever of Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley alongside my good buddy Brendan Gaughan.
Who's hosting?
I think I am. Yep. I'm the first one on the mic this week, I guess. Plus, see, I'm going to be remote next week from Dover, so you're going to be in here all by your lonesome with our wonderful pit crew. So you'll be at the desk by your lonesome, but you'll have our pit crew behind the glass.
We'll have a better shot of you getting in than me when I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I hope things will go smoothly. I think they have Wi-Fi in Delaware these days. I certainly hope so. It was the first stage.
You own the track, so.
Well, not me, but
our company. Your company owns the track, so I mean, you should.
If it doesn't, and I know who to call and complain to. Is that
exactly?
What you're saying?
There you go.
All right. Well, Brendan, first off, our long national nightmare is over.
NASCAR's most popular driver.
Chase Elliott is back in victory lane.
Does this mean we can jump back on the bandwagon? Remember I said I wouldn't bet until he got the W.
This is what I will say about Chase Elliott. I don't think he was the best car Sunday, but I will tell you, I will give him credit for this. No one on those late restarts was better than Chase Elliott. And that shows he's got his confidence back.
Yep.
And I think he may have gained that confidence during that race.
You know, look, he's had a bunch of good runs last couple of weeks. We've talked that Chase, we've said it on the show many times. Remember last year I was betting him every week. Then I said I wouldn't bet him until I can prove that he's back. And we've said the last few weeks, top 10s, top 5s, but he's still not winning. He just was, you know, Hendrick, William Byron, and Kyle Larson been winning everything, and Chase was just there. Chase came in, and he said it in an interview afterwards. He was not the best on the long run, but he was great on the short run, and you had a bunch of short restarts, and Chase Elliott went back to being Chase Elliott. You know, manned up, you know, tightened them belts and said, hey, I am a champion in this sport, and flat out did it again. Now, and I'm bummed I wasn't still betting him because his odds to win were damn good.
His odds to win were incredible. But, you know, one thing that I think true greatness is what you can do when you don't have the best equipment.
Car. Yep.
And I think that really says a lot about him. And look, I know Talladega this week is a little bit of a different animal, but when you look beyond that, we're talking Dover, we're talking Kansas, we're talking Darlington, we're talking Charlotte. Look out, because with his confidence level and the Hendrick Motorsports cars, those guys could go on a run.
Well, and who's one of the best plate racers?
But we also kind of know how anything can happen.
Understood, but who is one of the better ones?
But no matter what happens at Talladega, it is not going to deter his confidence going into the next few races after that, is what I'm saying. So I think, look out, we might have a new player in the game. You talked about the odds.
And what team is he again?
Hendrick Motorsports.
They are crushing it this year.
3 of their 4 guys have gone to victory lane now.
What is it? 9 races, 6 wins in 9 races this year. I mean, they're on fire.
Well, and it had been 42 races in 18 months since Chase Elliott found victory lane. So congratulations to Chase, and congratulations if you bet Chase Elliott last week. He was 16-1 to win the race. Probably some of the longest odds we've ever seen on Chase Elliott. 16-1 coming home first. Also a plus 400 for a top 3. He won his group. He was plus 250 in Group C. He was straight up against Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace, so he won those head-to-heads. He brought Chevy home at a plus 130.
Love that.
As the manufacturer prop. And his current odds are now at 10-1. Now, he opened at plus 700, but we saw him drop to about 12, 13-1. Mm-hmm. Now he's back to 10-1. And guess what? You're not going to get it any better than 10-1. So if you want Chase Elliott, I would say you bet him right now.
Well, and we said this the last couple weeks that we've mentioned the championship odds. Jump on it. I said, look, it may still fade. If he doesn't win, it was going to keep kicking its way slowly to the higher in the teens. But he was at that 12-1. I said, if there's no way Chase Elliott, I couldn't believe 2 years in a row, would not be able to make it. So here he is, plus 700. Still probably pretty big odds for him. I think it will go down to the 4, maybe 500 here.
Especially if he wins a couple more races, no
especially
question.
If he keeps running like they are. So, but great job, nice job on him. You know, he flat out beat Chastain on the 1 restart, and then Chastain got Chastained by
William Byron.
And Denny Hamlin. Hey, listen, Denny, I know you got your own podcast, all these things, but you know you like to talk a lot about other people. When you make a mistake, you better learn to take it. Denny just flat out booted it.
Yeah, you know, let's talk about a couple mistakes before we even get into our top 10. Denny certainly made a driving mistake, and we talked off the air, something that we almost never see happen. The guy who probably had the best car, certainly
and has
for the
one
first
of the best
half
crews.
of the race, and one of the best crews. I mean, never makes Kyle Larson.
Losing 2 people this week.
Kyle Larson just simply loses a wheel. That just doesn't happen to Kyle Larson.
Everyone is human. Every race team is human. We are not robots. You still race the race, and you have people that's why it's a team sport. But what I like is Kyle Larson gets out and goes, man, I love these guys. They've won races for me. And this one, they had a bad day. But I love that about Larson. He looks and goes, hey, I make mistakes on the racetrack and nobody gets to yell at me. Everybody they make them. It's okay. Life happens. Them Hendrick boys are tough. Them Hendrick guys are absolutely killing it. 5th win out of 9 races this season. You can't beat that.
And once more, before we get into the top 10, I want to ask you a question about how this is going to work, because I don't know why I thought to ask this. So he's had two crew guys ejected, all right? Now, in football, if your quarterback goes down, you got a backup quarterback that's been practicing all week long, and he knows the playbook. I can't imagine these teams just have these extra tire changes.
Oh, they have tons of them. They have tons of them.
But they don't get a lot of work in, do they?
They're working in the Xfinity Series. They're working in the truck garage. They're working every day. They have backup guys. They have full-time guys. They have old retired guys that still work out. So this really is
not going to have any effect on Larson at all. Now, Talladega wouldn't. Dover seems like it would have more of an effect than Talladega.
No, Talladega,
if you lose some spots at Talladega, they're easier to make up on the racetrack.
No, because if you have a bad spot at Talladega, remember, if you lose that draft and you come in, when the Chevrolets say they're coming in, and all 8 Chevrolets come in at once, 13 Chevrolets come in at once, you can't have a hang-up on that pit road because you're going to lose the draft. So this is a race that it matters as far as green flag stops, which it tends to have green flag stops. But they've got guys that work all year long. They got guys that are sitting, that are ex-college athletes, that have played football, basketball, baseball, played something. They're sitting there working out every day. They'll just be just fine because Hendrick, they do the pit stops normally for, I believe, Junior Motorsports. So their teams work together. They're going to pull up some of those guys. These 2 guys will get a couple-week vacation sitting at home doing the work. Actually, they'll go to the track and do all the setting up pit boxes and all the things that they can't do, can't go over the wall.
So can they?
No,
I don't think they can go to the racetrack.
No, I don't think they can go to the track.
So it's a next man up.
They'll basically be back for a couple weeks cleaning the pit guns and the pit coaches, and then come on back.
Next man up. All right, now let's take a look at our top 10 because, Brendan, there are some guys in this top 10
great names in here
who really needed this run. Nobody more than the guy who finished second and was plus 800 for a top 3 than Brad Keselowski. It's his best finish since he became a team owner, driver owner, or whatever. William Byron, now that one's probably not a big surprise, plus 200. But now let's go down the order. Tyler Reddick. He needed a run like this.
And he hadn't been good here. I said he hadn't been good at this track.
Daniel Suarez hadn't done anything since Atlanta.
Needed this.
He gets a top 5. Chase Briscoe, who, by the way, I am incredibly disappointed that Briscoe lost his group despite finishing 6th. I picked Briscoe because he was in the same group with Daniel Suarez, who hadn't run well since Atlanta. Bubba Wallace, not a big surprise. He was strong all day long.
Both RCR cars.
How about both RCR cars? Austin Dillon.
They needed that.
And Carson Hocevar gets his first.
We've been talking about him.
Could he be the Rookie of the Year?
We've been talking about him.
Is he going to beat Josh Berry for Rookie of the Year?
Since Daytona, I looked at you and said, this kid Carson Hocevar impressed me. Talking with him at Daytona has impressed me since his first race. The young man is doing absolutely fantastic. You got to give it up for this kid. I mean, he is really nobody. Look, everybody talks about Corey LaJoie at Spire, right? This kid, Hocevar, you got to give it to him. He's 22nd in points. He's 152 points. Sure, he's 60 points out of a playoff spot. But what I like is he is way ahead of Josh Berry, way ahead of Kaz Gralla, way ahead of Zane Smith. This kid right now is beating a Stewart Haas car in a Spire car for Rookie of the Year.
It's pretty job. Phenomenal. I mean, I think right now I think he's become the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Really do.
Top 10 at Texas. We're not talking top 10 at, like you said, Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta.
The right line at the right
top time. 10. Right. Hell of a run.
All right, let's take a quick look at our point standings right now. We've got a tie for 16th now between 2 heavyweights, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, for the last cutoff position. And 1 point behind them is Brad Keselowski, thanks to that good run. But what we also are seeing is after you get past the top 18, it has really separated itself, because now you've got 37 points between 18th and 19th. And I know, look, we're only 7 races into the season, 9 races into the season now. So we're a third of the way through the regular season. And I'm telling you, some of these guys that are, if you're below 18 right now, you are almost getting into a you got a win situation.
Well, you're looking at some of those guys that we had listed up there. There's big names that are on the cusp. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Hendrick, Penske, RCR on the cusp. Who is going to get pushed out if somebody gets in? There's some big names still on the outside too. So this is going to come down. This points battle this year is tight. It's going to come down to wins.
And we already know that we're going to have some guys that were in it this past year
that won't make it
out of it, because we've got two guys already, Suarez and Chase Elliott, who were not in it last year, who are now in it for this year. So that's certainly going to move things up. All right, let's take a look at our upcoming schedule. We know this weekend we got Talladega, and I just mentioned it, the different tracks that we're going to be going to, followed by Dover, Kansas, Darlington. And then we'll have the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. But Talladega and then Dover, Kansas, Darlington. And it's a great mix-up of races, I think, right there. And I think we said earlier, and add on the Coke 600, which is the week after the All-Star race. I believe once we're through Charlotte, we're going to know pretty much, other than maybe an upset, say at, Daytona or on a road course, we have a pretty good idea who's going to be our playoff guys already.
Well, no, I think, and I said it wrong, that it's not going to take wins. It's going to be points that matter in this thing. And there's some names. I mean, hell, a couple bad races. Somebody has a blown motor or somebody has something. There is a lot of point battle that's going to go on here with big bad to the bone teams, guys that can still come up, still get a couple wins. Remember, you get a guy that comes and wins this week, and Austin Dillon goes and wins Talladega. Well, that puts a whole that moves that cut line, right? We talk about it all the time. So it's going to be exciting this year. I love it. I don't think it's going to be the 16 wins like we talk, but that point battle is going to be bad to the bone to watch.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And I just like seeing that these different racetracks, because even though, look, Dover's a mile, Kansas a mile and a half, Darlington's 1.3 mile.
Yeah, but Darlington's Darlington.
They're all right.
Darlington. And Dover's Dover. I don't care what the distance, they're bad to the bone.
Right. They call it a monster mile for a reason. All right. We come back. We'll start breaking down everything about this weekend's race at Talladega Superspeedway, one of our favorite places to go.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yes. I am beautiful. And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan. We just wrapped up everything from this past weekend's race at Texas Motor Speedway, the only race of the year in Texas. Right. But it certainly was a big one for Chase Elliott getting to victory lane. But this weekend,
your favorite word. Go ahead.
My favorite.
Say the word.
It's one of the crapshoot races. I love it. The crapshoot 500.
These track records say that it's not a crapshoot. Just pointing that out again.
If you're Brad Keselowski, you're going to say it's not a crapshoot. And Brad, we talked about Brad finishing second last week at Texas and trying to break through, and he's won as an owner with Chris Buescher. He
Yes.
has not won as a driver and an owner at the same time. But he's got 6 wins, 10 top 5s, and 14 top 10s in 30 starts at Talladega.
50% top 10, right there. 6 wins is impressive. But there's a couple other guys. I mean, you got Chase Elliott, 50% top 10. You got
Ryan Blaney's going to run well here because he always runs. He's got 3 wins at Talladega.
And of course, this is where we talk a lot about Ricky Stenhouse Jr., baby. Ricky Stenhouse, a little aggressive, but when he gets there, he gets there.
Well, you're right, and there's a lot of guys who has an opportunity here because they know how they like this kind of racing and they embrace it. And amazingly, Kyle Busch seems to have embraced it a little bit more lately.
A lot more lately, yes.
I maybe it's because I think maybe for him the Childress cars maybe they react a little bit better for him. I don't know, but I know Kyle won this race last April.
Yep.
So he's certainly going back with a chance to defend. He didn't win in the fall. That was Blaney. But Blaney used this as a catalyst toward the championship.
But Blaney is one of the best here in the, like you always talk. What have you done for me lately? Blaney has done it lately.
And the other guy, we can never leave him out. We're on these kind of racetracks. Denny Hamlin, 36 career starts, but he's got 16 top 10s. Only got 2 wins here, but still 16 top 10s. And look, if you can get top 10s, you have a chance to win here.
Yep.
Because if you're running in the top 10 with two to go,
less than 5 to go, all bets are off.
You absolutely have a great shot. All right, let's take a look at our odds to win, and we are guaranteed a double-digit odds guy, which is not a big surprise when we go to Talladega because it's so hard to pick winners here. Ryan Blaney and William Byron are the co-favorites at 10-1. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano are 12-1. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, and Brad Keselowski at 15, and then a bunch of guys at 20. Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, and Alex Bowman are all at 20-1.
The first one I'm going to look at is Bubba Wallace. Been on fire lately, right? Running really well. Martinsville, even Texas, consistently up there. When we talk about super speedways, we talk about Bubba Wallace a lot. There's an asterisk to that, in my opinion. Bubba Wallace runs great at Daytona, more so.
But he does have a win at Talladega.
Yes, but he runs better at Daytona than he does Talladega. And that's so that. But that 15-1, I do like that 15-1 because he is feeling it right now. He has absolutely been dramatically improved this year, and that 15-1 right there. Even Denny Hamlin 15-1. I mean, if you're looking for a winner, as most people know that watch our show, at Daytona and Talladega, very rarely will you or I ever pick a winner. But you can pick several guys and give yourself multiple opportunities when the odds are as long as they are. I got 10 units to go, and I'm guaranteed, I could pick 9 guys and still win if I got, 10-1 on somebody. So I could, but I do really like that Bubba Wallace, that Denny Hamlin at 15-1. Those are 2 right off the top that make me not scratch my head, go, I like that.
So there's one name up there who has an incredible odd against his name, but we never ever talk about him at Daytona and Talladega, and that's Kyle Larson. I mean, he's sitting here at 20-1. He has no wins at Talladega. I don't think he's won at Daytona either.
No. Let me give you the last 10 super speedway races, and this does not include Atlanta because that's new. So I'm just going Daytona, Talladega. He has 1 top 10 in 10 races on super speed on Daytona or Talladega. And if I go to Talladega, I got to go, if I'm talking fantasy points here, I'm still scrolling down the screen to find him. Average finish 26.3, 1 top 5, 4th in 8 races.
And that's why, and he has never excelled on these type racetracks. But do you think at some point it's worth to take a flyer on Kyle Larson? Because look, all right, the one thing we know about Kyle Larson, he may be the best race car driver.
Yes. And here's the thing.
In the sport
if
today.
you look at how those finishes are, the way that we talk about manufacturers in this, it's Chevrolet versus Ford versus Toyota, right? They're going to get in their
Byron
group.
always runs well there. Chase Elliott runs well there.
And they get in their group and they run. I think the biggest difference is you see Chase Elliott get up front and manage that draft. Brad Keselowski is the master at managing that draft, right? I mean, he can block both lanes and do that. Those are things.
So is Joey Logano.
So is Joey Logano.
Joey's very good.
So is Denny. There's a bunch of guys that are great at it. Kyle just is not that guy. So I think that Kyle will be in the draft, but then he gets wrapped up in things. So, I mean, am I against him? No. But once again, we're going to talk a lot this week when we get to the group matchups, when we get to some head-to-heads. about manufacturer basis. I don't the Kyle Larson, kind of like it used to be with me and Kyle Busch. I just don't talk about him at these places because it doesn't seem to matter to him.
I feel like at some point he's too good of a racer.
He's got
not
to at some
break
point,
through
yeah.
At some point, and I think we've kind of said that about Kyle. Kyle went for a long time without winning one of these races. His brother was the same way. Kurt used to always run really well, and then he finally won the Daytona 500. So we've seen different guys. So all right, let's look at our longer odds here. Several guys at 25-1. Chris Buescher, Martin Truex Jr., another guy kind of like Kyle Larson, who you really just don't talk about on these big tracks. Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez all at 25-1. Your buddy Ricky Stenhouse Jr. there at 30-1. Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon at 40. Cindric, former Daytona 500 winner, along with Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson, and Corey LaJoie, all at 50-1. Ryan Preece and Josh Berry are 60-1, and the field is 20-1.
South Point giving no love to the 62. The mighty Beard Oil 62.
No Anthony Alfredo.
No fast pasta.
Fast pasta.
Dude Wipes, baby. How come they get these cool sponsors when I'm not there? Dude Wipes?
Are you trying to tell me Dude Wipes is sponsoring your car?
Dude Wipes, baby. Come on, we had Death Wish coffee and now Dude Wipes.
I know, and I kept calling it Death Star Coffee.
Death Star.
I couldn't get that right.
But I mean, where was this when I was driving? If there's a guy that looks like it, Dude Wipes should be the right sponsor. I mean, hello, hi, how you doing?
Really? You know the one I used to love? Remember Boudreaux's butt paste?
Boudreaux's butt paste.
I remember
that one.
Boudreaux's butt paste.
That could have been one for me too.
Car.
But yeah, no love. South Point not putting Anthony Alfredo up there. Put us in the field. Here's the deal. In reality, Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, 40-40 and 50-1. Those are three guys. First of all, Dillon needs a run like you cannot believe. The RCR needs.
Well, he had a good run last week. He got a top 10.
But this is where he's won at these type of places. He's really good at these type of places. Austin Dillon, 3 top 10s, last 10 races just at Talladega. Austin Dillon on the mile and a half on the big tracks, same thing. Great stats. He needs it. I like that. And Michael McDowell, former Daytona 500 champion, Austin Cindric, guys that know how to get it done here. Martin Truex Jr., I'm not even going to talk about him. We know that he just does not like these places anymore. Used to, doesn't anymore.
So a guy that's already won on one of these type tracks this year is sitting here at 25-1 and Daniel Suarez. You mentioned Michael McDowell, Austin Cindric. We talked about him, who's also a winner. And a guy sitting there who I think is going to be good this week because he loves this kind of racing and he was always terrific at it in the Xfinity Series is Noah Gragson.
Oh, no, and right behind Noah Gragson is Corey LaJoie.
And there's Corey LaJoie, another guy who we know runs well.
Runs great at these places.
So I am not in the least going to be surprised if someone on what we would consider our page 2 up here on the board actually comes in.
And you got to think of a Corey LaJoie or a Noah Gragson. Corey is known to do what I used to do. Hang, wait for the wrecks, be there at the end. Michael McDowell always does the same thing. Those are guys you have to look at. Guys on the second page have a legit shot because they can hang, wait, miss the wreck, and go forward. There's a bunch of guys here. This is a tough one to pick a winner. That's why we don't do it.
It's almost like just tempting to say, okay, like for one of my 5 picks, why not just take one of them? Because if I get it right, I'll be smoking you.
You might catch me.
Well, if I get one of those
one of those right, you might catch me.
I'll catch you. I promise.
I don't know. Are we 30 points behind me already?
I don't think it's quite that far.
Right. Something close.
I know that Georgetown math. I get it. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at our top 3s. William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Brad Keselowski are all coming in there at plus 275. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott plus 300. Kyle Busch plus 400. Bubba Wallace 425. Chastain and Bell at 450. Larson at 500. Buescher and Gibbs at 550. Reddick, Bowman, and Truex at 600. There's some pretty good numbers up here. I think
there's some high numbers right there. You look at Ross Chastain once again. Bubba Wallace 425. Chase Elliott 300. Kyle Busch 400. There's some big numbers on guys in the top 3s. And that second page, I really like some of these numbers.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm looking at this first page though, and I see guys that, I guess I look at a guy like Joey Logano. Joey's either going to win or he's probably not going to finish top 3. Joey just seems like a guy he's either going to get out front or Joey tends to get shuffled out right at the very end. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so good at playing those lanes. So I don't know. I think it's really kind of tough when you look at the picking a top three. But all right, let's look at the longer odds. You said you like page 2. Ricky Stenhouse is plus 700. Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric at 750. Daniel Suarez at 900. McDowell is 11-1. Gregson and Briscoe at 12. Gilliland and LaJoy at 14. We didn't even mention Todd Gilliland, I don't believe, on the odds to win. Yeah. So he's a 14-1 for top 3. Ryan Preece is 15. Zane Smith, Josh Berry, John Hunter, and Carson Hocevar all at 18. And Justin Haley, a guy who has a win on a super speedway. It was at Daytona, 22-1.
Hocevar and Haley, I like
from the rain.
Here's the deal. I love Austin Dillon because remember, think about the teams pushing. There will be guys that will be pushing, and Austin Dillon is going to go for the W. Yes, but if he's not, he's going to pull out, try to make something happen. But Dillon at 750, McDowell at 11, Chase Briscoe, Corey LaJoy, 14, a guy that lives to the end of the day. I'm betting you Hocevar in that Spire car is going to be one of those kids that waits till the end of the day. I love these numbers on a top 3. I really do think that you're going to see somebody from this second page be in that top 3.
Well, the one guy maybe that stands out to me the most is Daniel Suarez, and I'll tell you why. He has a win. So if he has an opportunity to help Ross, or maybe even to help another Chevrolet, because the Chevrolets do work well together. Yep. They're good teamwork. Suarez, I think, would be willing to be that guy that would push somebody.
8th, 9th, 10th, last 3 races at Talladega. 8, 9, 10. I mean, so he's there. He knows how to be there. I don't dislike that at all. I think that I love this page. Dillon, Cindric, Suarez, McDowell, Corey LaJoy. I love the guys on this page.
A lot of good choices there. Okay, we come back. We might barely touch on head-to-heads because there's not many good ones. Then we'll get to our groups.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back into Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan here, talking all things Talladega Superspeedway, the GEICO 500, not the Crapshoot 500, even though I want to rename it that. You think maybe South Point could rename it the South Point Crapshoot 500.
Is Las Vegas Motor Speedway willing to give up the sponsorship of the October race?
That's probably a good point. We'll stick to.
I'll make sure I mention to Chris Powell you talked about it.
We'll make sure. Well, I thought I like to play on words, but in our race isn't as much of a crapshoot, but. Yeah, And why don't you buy a casino in like Mississippi or Alabama, somewhere like that down there, right there on the Gulf Coast?
Be right on that.
Then you could go down there and visit.
We did for a minute.
You could do a lot of your scuba diving down there in the Gulf of Mexico.
When we were Boyd, we had a place over there.
You like scuba diving down in Gulf of Mexico?
Love scuba diving anywhere. It don't matter where it's at.
You go to Belize, or Honduras. Yeah,
Honduras. Love going to Roatan. Love going to Roatan.
Okay.
Roatan. Hey, me and Roatan, we got Oh, yeah.
Okay. I've been to Racin once. Didn't go. I played golf when I was on
My
Racin.
kids
They
have
have a-
skydive? No, scuba
They have
dive.
a nice golf course on Racin Island. It's called the Black Pearl. Pete Dye designed it. You don't play golf, and I don't scuba dive. So there we go. We could go
We
down
can go
there
together. You go one way,
hang
I'll
at
go the
golf
other way.
course, and
We'll meet up for dinner.
for dinner. There you go. Okay.
All right.
All right. Back to racing. We know we have a little time to fill because guess what? We have no driver head-to-heads this
Look,
week.
no, people have
I
head-to-heads.
teased people to head-to-heads. and
DraftKings
we
has
got
them. Westgate has them. There are head-to-heads.
And guess what? Everybody
They're
is
boring
minus
as hell.
110 to minus 110.
There you go.
So don't bother with driver
So we don't
head-to-heads
care.
this week.
Now, I'm bummed because I've been kicking your butt and the pit crew's butt all season long. And where do I punch and Judy you? Head-to-heads a lot. But
Although you've been winning some groups this year. Too.
I'll make it work. I will kick your butt without head-to-heads. It's okay. No fret. To the pit crew behind the glass. Don't worry. I will still kick your butt.
All right. So just a clue here on every group matchup we have, it's everything between plus
It's just like
260 or
head-to-heads.
plus 265 to plus 270. So it's really about who's in the group more so than what the odds are.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the way you're going to have to look at it this week. So let's start off in Group A, where Ryan Blaney and William Byron are both plus 265, and Chase Elliott and Joey Logano are plus 270.
I got 2 Penske Fords and I got 2 Hendrick Chevrolets. And we said that I'm going to break this down a lot in these group matchups going to manufacturers. This is one that's a 50-50. You got the statistically best fantasy point getter in the last 10 races with Ryan Blaney. You have statistically the second best point getter in the last 10 races with William Byron. So it's like, well, Third is Chase Elliott. Fourth?
There's a reason they're all in Group A.
Yes. Joey Logano is not fourth, though. So
It's a tough group, but I like Mr. Momentum.
okay.
And so I'm liking Chase Elliott a little bit
Okay.
here. Here's the thing. For you and I at the end of this show, we've got to make 5 picks this week. Now, there are no weeks harder than Daytona
Than
and
Talladega,
Talladega
and Atlanta
really
now.
now Atlanta
Yeah.
to make picks.
Yes.
So we got to pick somebody somewhere. So honestly, we could almost look at every group and want to throw that X up. But
Yeah,
guess what?
But this one,
we can't do that.
But this one, I can specifically say, this is the 4 favorites. Their 2 teammates are going to be pushing each other. You know, Blaney's going to be pushing Logano or vice versa. Byron's going to be pushing Elliott, vice versa. It's 50-50 in this one. I can't go into this one and say I like X or Y. Group B, there's things I can maybe give you a little bit of a needle through, but this one I can't.
Okay, and I think that's fair, and I think we're going to probably say that about certain groups a little bit more than others. So you mentioned Group B. We'll take a look over there where Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski are the 2 co-favorites at plus 265. Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace both at plus 270.
See, now here I've got the 2 Toyota teammates and then a Ford and a Chevy. All right, now I can do some talking. Brad Keselowski, we just said, the best statistically at this racetrack. He's got no teammate in this, which means that if the Fords are pushing him and he's got Ryan Blaney pushing him to get into that race, I don't have to worry about him in this group. So I love the standalone Ford because he is going to have nobody else in this group is going to be pushing him. Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace.
Denny may have to push Bubba or Bubba has to push Denny.
There you go. Kyle Busch, same thing, has no teammate. But if I'm talking who I like better here as a whole, it's Brad Keselowski. I like Brad. I think that he is no teammate here. I don't have to worry about him getting pushed by a teammate. So I'm going to say Brad Keselowski in Group B because I don't have to worry about that thing.
Well, if we need to have a clip to put on social media, it's this one when I say I agree with you 100%. I absolutely am.
Well, we just screwed Brad Keselowski.
Yes.
Sorry, Brad.
Brad, sorry. We love you, buddy. We really do like Brad Keselowski.
I do.
He is one of our favorite guys out there. Well, you know what? I look at this group here. There's a lot of guys up here in this group we like. You know, Bubba's been good to us on media. Kyle's been good to us. You and Denny have your, you know.
I don't have anything with Denny. I couldn't hold his jock when I raced, so I got nothing for him.
You just like to bash him every once in a
No,
while.
I don't like when people are loud but can't take it back.
Oh, I got you.
You know, you want to throw it out there, but when you make a mistake, you try to blame everybody else and don't
Okay.
accept it back. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. I got no problem with it.
It happens. All right. I like the Brad Keselowski thing too. You went very in depth into your theory for it. Mine's a little bit more of a, you know what? He's been the most successful guy that we
Data.
got here.
Gut.
I'm just going,
Got it.
well, but there's data and gut. Because
Yes.
again, you're going with the fact that he's the only Ford in this group. I'm going with the fact that in 30 starts here, he's won 6 times. He's finished top 10 in half of the starts here. So I consider that data more so than gut too. I mean, there's data to back it up. So I agree. I like Brad Keselowski here. Okay, let's take a look at Group C. Our co-favorites there, Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain at plus 265. Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson both coming in there at plus 270. Now you got 2 Toyotas and you got 2 Chevrolets.
Well, and to me that Ross Chastain is kind of that what do you want to say, that outlaw of this group, right? I mean, yes, him and Larson are both Chevy teammates, but Chastain kind of rolls on his own punches. So you could almost call it that, where, you think, but again, they're
not teammates. They're just same manufacturer.
They're same manufacturer, but Seabell and Ty Gibbs absolutely will be working with each other. I mean, they're both driving for Joe Gibbs. Ty Gibbs has cooled as of late. He was on fire early this season. He's cooled off a little bit.
The short tracks kind of
took a little momentum out of him.
Toe a little bit.
So,
and he was running well. He qualified second, was running well at Texas, and then they had a problem in the pits, cost him a bunch of time.
Cost him much spot. But so this one, if I'm going to take an outlier, it would be that Ross Chastain doesn't make a lot of friends. So I could pull him out and I would go, Kyle Larson is the Chevy that has friends. But we just talked, Kyle Larson doesn't have great stats here.
And neither does Christopher Bell.
So then I'm back to the Toyotas. And if I'm splitting a hair, Ty Gibbs is going to be aggressive. Christopher Bell might be a little more chill. I like Seabell.
I like Chastain here. And my thought process really on Chastain here is, we talked about a little bit earlier, he's got a teammate that would be willing to push him.
Yep.
I think if it came down late in the race.
Absolutely.
I just don't feel real good about Bell and Larson on these type racetracks. I don't really think it's their strength. Ty Gibbs, we know, will run hard, and he will probably do his best to run up front. So to me, it really kind of comes down to Chastain and Gibbs there. And I just think maybe sometimes when you're at a place like a Talladega, that experience actually plays in. And I tell you what's amazing. I didn't know this the other day. I believe Chastain is going to make his 200th Cup start and his 500th overall NASCAR National Series start. It seems like he just came along a few years ago.
No, he just came along with good teams a few years ago. He'd been slugging around forever. And
that's a lot of experience.
Yes, it is.
And that's a lot of laps around the track. So I like Chastain here in Group C. Okay, let's take a look over at Group D, where Tyler Reddick.
Got to win here too, Chastain. Don't forget.
Well, there you go. Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman are both coming in at plus 260. And I think the highest odds we're going to see in any of the group matchups, Martin Truex Jr. and Eric Jones are both at plus 275.
Well, and there's a reason for that. And it's, no offense, it's rightfully so.
Okay. But now Eric Jones has run well.
Legacy has not shown a lot. So here's the deal. Tyler Reddick is a Toyota. Martin Truex Jr. is a Toyota. Eric Jones is a Toyota. We already talked that Truex is it's his era of not liking these places, right? I go back to what I went earlier in the other group. Alex Bowman. He's a standalone. He's the only guy here in that Chevrolet. He's the only guy here that's going to have other teammates that are trying to push him. He's got 3 top 10s in the last 9 races here at Talladega. So here's a guy that doesn't have any competition of his own teammates here. And he's in a Hendrick car. And all the other guys are locked in. You think that Kyle, Chase, and Byron don't know that Bowman ain't locked in and they wouldn't help their teammate? Well, first of all, they're going to work with each other anyway. But now you got a shot with, it doesn't hurt me if any of them are pushing him. I love Alex Bowman here.
Well, and my process of elimination here is I'm eliminating the 2 at the bottom. I'm taking Truex and Eric Jones out. And look, that doesn't mean, look, either one of them could win the race.
Oh, I mean, Eric Jones he's come closer a few times.
He has
5 top 10s last 5 races on super speedways on Daytona and Talladega.
And Eric Jones is another guy who's going to embrace this type of racing. We know that, but I really do think it comes down between Reddick and Bowman. And Reddick certainly has a teammate out there, along with also having his team owner out there on the racetrack with him as well. But I kind of like your theory on the Hendrick cars, and knowing that Elliott and Larson and Byron are all out there and would love to get all 4 Hendrick cars locked into the playoffs. So I'm with you on this one. I'm probably not as strong of an agreement with you on Bowman as I was on Keselowski, but I do like Bowman here to win in Group D.
If I'm giving you a stat, Eric Jones, 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s, last 10 Talladega races.
Well,
so Eric Jones, statistically, the best in this field. But
And look, I think Eric Jones is a guy here who could be an outlier. And I even think
Absolutely.
when you start thinking about
A lot of those
Eric
were on other
Jones,
teams.
those
A lot of those were on other teams.
He was running for Gibbs, those other teams. But I also think you can go back and you can look at top threes as something where Eric Jones could really pay off a lot too. All right, we'll take a look at Group E. We'll at least get it started before we go to break here in our Group E. Chase Briscoe and Michael McDowell both coming in here at plus 265. Austin Cindric and Noah Gragson both at plus 270.
4 Fords. Or no, sorry, four Fords. Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, all 4 Fords. Michael McDowell is my favorite just because how well Michael McDowell does. But they're all going to be in the pack.
And I think you look at these guys.
And they're all guys that wait to the end.
Right. And they're all guys that are capable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Michael McDowell and Chase Briscoe, I mean, they have proven it on this type of racetrack that they can win these type of races. And again, we talked earlier, Noah has run very well on these tracks in the other series.
Don't like this one.
All right. I think that's our group that we're going to stay away from this week. Okay. We come back. We have our final segment. We'll get to Group F, our manufacturer props, and our picks.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu. Plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin.
Welcome back in our final segment of Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan here.
I shot the clerk. I shot the clerk.
Who you shot? What?
I shot the clerk.
What are you talking about?
The 2 Utes.
The two.
Ann loves the 2 Utes thing.
The 2 Utes. Okay.
Over a can of tuna. It was a can of tuna.
Okay, Mr. Gambini. Okay.
Joey Cow.
All right. Can we get? Are we going to violate like some copyright law? By
I don't think so. I think you're allowed 30
my
seconds.
cousin Vinny?
I think you're 30
You
seconds.
get 30 seconds.
A couple quotes.
Okay.
I think you're allowed a few.
All right. Okay. Is this our professionally unprofessional
Yes.
moment of the day?
Well,
I don't know.
we've
We were
had that
talking
since the
about
start.
your
We've had
scuba diving and my golfing in Roatan, which
And we decided who was Ann was asking who was hosting the show 15 seconds
is true.
before.
You want to see something unprofessional, you can watch me play golf. I am certainly not a pro when it comes to that, by the way. You're much more of a pro at scuba diving.
There was
than
a great.
I am at
I saw a
playing
great
golf.
thing on Instagram or something this week. If you were able to start the Masters on the edge of the green, could you putt your way to a green jacket and beat the pros? If you the furthest spot of every green,
I know what you're saying.
Could you do it?
I would say I could do that because the one thing I can do is putt. I can putt because I've gone to Pinehurst, which has the toughest greens in the world, and I have actually putted well there. So, but the problem is it's the other clubs I struggle.
That's what I said. All you have to do is sit at the green.
If I could only take my putter, I think I could do that because I actually do putt very well. But the rest of my golf game,
hey, put our money where his mouth is. Let's
kind of
set
like
this
you
up.
ran Texas really well.
I did for an era. Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
And Brendan.
All right.
Brendan
How about
is
that?
now tearing the studio down. So with that, let's move along to our Group F.
All right.
Where we have our co-favorites here, Ryan Preece and Josh Berry at plus 265, John Hunter Nemechek, and your new favorite guy out there, Carson Hocevar.
That's my new Boucher, man. I'm telling you.
He's your new Busher,
That's my
right?
Boucher.
Yeah.
Look, here's the deal. This is a tough one. Okay, there's hard to split these. Josh Berry, not a lot of experience in Cup at these places. Ryan Preece, they're both teammates. John Hunter over there at Legacy in that Toyota, the camp's struggling. But you got a Ford, a Chevy, and a Toyota. I like Carson Hocevar. I think he's going to take a page out of Corey LaJoie's book. He's going to wait to the end. He's been good in the truck series at these places. He knows how to get around, a la Justin Haley years ago with the surprise of the century when he won that race. I like Hocevar. He's the new Chris Boucher. He's going to be cashing tickets for me. I'm going in on Hocevar.
You know, most weeks I love looking at Group E, Group F. That's a place to steal a pick.
Hocevar?
I wasn't feeling Group E, and I'm just not feeling Group F. I love what Hocevar is doing. I also love the experience of a Ryan Preece. I also love the fact that John Hunter has always run well in trucks and Xfinity on these type races. And Josh Berry is a guy who's had some success here in Xfinity series as well. This one just kind of, I don't know. It scares me. I'm staying away from it. I'm not picking it. But
when I win this one next week, I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay. All right. Because I've
record this section right here. Everybody, hit record. Serious. I want you to call Jeff Motley, dogging me in Group F.
All right.
Carson, I'm with you.
Okay. All right, Carson. If you do it, we're going to give you props next week. If you don't, we're just going to blame Brendan.
Right.
Okay. Let's take a look at our manufacturer prop, which I'm going to be quite honest with you, Brendan. I'm a little surprised this one isn't a little tighter.
Yeah, it's got a big spread, which I wasn't expecting.
Chevy, the favorite, at a plus 150. Ford is a plus 170. Toyota at plus 230.
Look, I bet the Chevy favorite last week at plus 130 for a reason, and it paid off. Right now, plus 150 is still a great return on a manufacturer, but that 230 is enticing for me because the Toyotas, Denny Hamlin does run really well here. Bubba Wallace does run really well here. I know there's not as many. Their numbers have grown since the Legacy joined, but I do like that 230 on Toyota is good, but even the 150, that's a great return on for Chevrolet, which has the most bullets, which has some of the best bullets we were talking about. I bet 130 last week, and it was worth the juice was worth the squeeze for me last week.
You're right, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna take Toyota my picks because they are plus 230 and it is better odds, and I like your theory. But then I look and I realize that if I pick Toyota, then I've got three of the same picks as you, and I can never make up any ground on you if I just keep picking the same stinking drivers.
Or at least you get back into positive numbers if you follow me, because only one of us is.
You and I had three of the same last week, and it didn't get me back to positive numbers. I just want to point out.
I won two. I should have won three.
Well, exactly. But it were the ones I didn't pick, unfortunately. I think we picked one of the same. So I'm really torn here. I really do like the Toyota thing, but I believe on the Scribble world, I think I'm going to take Chevrolet, and that means a Toyota. Congratulations
to Ford,
Bubba, Tyler, Denny, Christopher, Martin, Ty. Congratulations. This is probably a sure win. Maybe Noah gets the win here, or Eric Jones. I think they're Toyotas. So either way, I pretty much just guaranteed a Toyota win because I just switched my pick from Toyota to Chevrolet. So, and there's no scientific reason why. All right. Let's take a quick look at our championship odds.
They're okay. I mean, it's like you said,
not a big
biggest
change.
mover was
Chase Elliott went up slightly. And again, he's still down from where he started the year at plus 700. But last week, I believe he was 12 or 13. He's up to 10-1 right now. Byron and Hamlin, look, they're plus 400. And guess what? It's not getting any better. In fact, I think right now's the time to go bet Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson at plus 500. Because I'm telling you, if some guys have success on these mile 1.3, 1.5 mile tracks that are all coming up here.
See, I don't dislike that. But what I still say, this is a future bet, and the future bet is a great way to hedge. Take the Ross Chastain at 16-1. Take the Joey Logano 15-1. Take the Alex Bowman. Take some of these guys with that higher odd that are with the big teams that once the playoffs get closer, those numbers are going to drop. significantly into single digits, low teens. Jump on them now, and that's how you get your hedge in.
Nope, I don't disagree with you. I think it's a great opportunity right now to
Let's talk
jump
about
on
my
a
favorite
few
part of the show
things.
now.
Okay, so last week's picks, Brendan, you were the big winner again last
Again.
week, and again, you were the big winner, and I also really did feel like you were kind of a loser. Not
I had
you were a
one more.
loser
I had 3
by
of 5.
losing to Chastain, and I feel kind of equal my own that to pick Chase Briscoe to win a group, and he finishes sixth in the race
To win Group E, not like
to win
Group B.
E,
Yeah.
and I get a 6th place out of Briscoe, and he doesn't win the group. So
My
that
Larson and my Chevy, though. Larson and
Uh,
Chevy got me last week.
But you were able to get wins with William Byron.
I mean,
winning
not Larson. Yeah, Byron.
You got Byron in Group A, and you picked Chevy to win. I also had the Chevy pick to win, so you and I both came in
Hey,
on
the
that
pit
one.
crew have any last week that won?
No, I don't think the pit crew wants to talk about their picks from last week because it was a very, very rough.
And they
week.
had just made it to like almost being on the positive for the season.
They were one
on the
unit
cusp.
below the
On the
Mendoza
cusp.
line, and then there we go. And I know we keep using the Mendoza line, and I'm really aging myself. Is
That's
there
okay,
somebody
Earl
more
Ross.
modern that we could use other than Mario Mendoza? You know
Listen,
who gave him that
Listen,
nickname?
Earl Ross.
Ha, very funny. George Brett was a guy who one day, I think he was hitting below 200 one day, and he goes, I'm hitting worse than Mario Mendoza. And they started calling it the Mendoza
Mendoza
line. I think there's some story back there. But again, we're talking about people that have to be at least in their around your age, Demo, or older to remember who George Brett
was.
especially Mario Mendoza was. So, and with that, let's get to our picks for this week.
Pit crew goes first.
Pit crew goes first. I've got them right here in front of me.
Got to take them glasses off. Come
I
on,
gotta
old man.
take- well, you know, it's funny. Most everybody
Has
puts
to
their
put the
glasses
glasses
on to read. I have to take mine off to read. So I'm the complete opposite weirdo of everybody else. So pit crew picks, they're taking Tyler Reddick for a top 3 at plus 600, Christopher Bell a top 3 at plus 450, and Ryan Blaney a plus 3 at plus 275. So they're all in on the top 3s. Denny Hamlin to win Group B at a plus 265, and Eric Jones, who I think they're going against us.
That's
'cause you
okay.
and I
That's
think,
okay.
have the same picks in B and D, and it's opposite of the pit crew. So
I don't dislike some of their pick. I mean, look, they're throw them top 3s out. I have weeks where I've had 3 top 3s. They can listen. They got 2 Toyotas and a Ford. Them Toyotas run their way to that top 3, and they got 2 of them pushing. They're going to be very happy at the end of the day.
No,
They still wouldn't catch me, but they'd still be happy.
Okay, my picks this week. I'm going to take a top 3. I'm going to take Daniel Suarez plus 900 for top 3. I really just like that, and I don't know that I have a strong opinion why. I'm going in Group B with Brad Keselowski at plus 265. I'm taking Ross Chastain in Group C plus 265, and Alex Bowman in Group D at a plus 260. And then, again, against my better judgment, I switched my original pick, and I'm going to take Chevy as the manufacturer pick at a plus 150, which is still a really good odd on plus 150 for
Yes, it
Chevy.
is. And I was thinking about switching mine too, but I'm going to let you. We're going to go against
Well,
each
if you
other.
switch yours, I'm going to switch mine back. So let me know right now, because I'm just not going to make the same freaking pick that you do on the manufacturing. I'm just bound and determined to go different.
And that is how we give you such sage advice on Gaughan Racing.
Exactly. It's such scientific
That's
stuff
right.
goes on here.
Okay, so I'm going to do one top 3. I'm taking a flyer since I got a big lead, and I like this. I got some reasoning behind it. Austin Dillon, top 3. Is that big number for him for a top 3? And I think that he's going to try to find a way to get it done this weekend and get back into the fold.
It's not as big as the number on Suarez.
No,
Just
but
saying.
I like it.
I'm just saying.
I like it. And then I'm going 3 groups. I got Group B. I got Kez. I'm putting my money where my mouth is on Kezzy. I have my theory behind it, and I like it. I'm going Group D with Alex Bowman. Same thing. I got my theory. I'm sticking with it. I'm going with it. And then I'm going with my main man that I'm sticking with for most of the year, Carson Hocevar. Until he can stop cashing me tickets, I'm going to keep on riding that horse. So keep on going, Carson. I'll see you this weekend in Talladega. And then I am going to stick with Toyota plus 230. They got enough bullets in that gun that I think that they're going to run up there. And you got Denny Hamlin. That's always a good one too.
Well, and I think it's a really good pick, even though I didn't pick it. I do. Look, I think the manufacturer prop is a great one this week because you really can make a good.
Nope.
A good.
I do like the 150. I don't like the Ford, but I do like the 150 on Chevrolet.
Yep, and neither one of us picked the Ford. So, all right, we got less than a minute to
Damn,
go.
we're gonna race this year.
Off to Talladega. We're off to Talladega. You got your car running down there, the Beard Oil Chevrolet. Fast
Beard Oil
Pasta,
Chevy's back. Dude
Anthony
wipes.
Alfredo. Dude wipes.
Dude wipes and Death Wish coffee, baby.
You know, we can't go to Talladega. You know, already.
After I drink Death Wish coffee, I need some Dude Light.
And by the way, already this week on social,
I got some nods behind the glass.
there we go. Already this week, by the way, I've seen 3 different social clips of your famous flip at Talladega. So
NBC
we can't go
reposted
there.
that today.
They did, and it's like you can't really go to Talladega without getting a replay of your flip. Is that still
Stuck the landing.
Well, you did, and you made sure your mother knew.
Stick the landing forever.
You really liked racing Daytona and Talladega.
I did love it for a while. Not anymore, but I did love it.
Well, the one thing we all do is we love watching Daytona and Talladega, which is what we'll be doing this weekend. And we'll be back here next week, tell you all things about Talladega, and start breaking down things at Dover.